No, I think it was nice.
Okay, so recently I wrote a blog about feeling like I wasn't able to raise a girl. So when I was pregnant and I found out that I was having a girl, I was very, very nervous, very anxious, and so much emotions had come up because I felt like I was incapable of raising a girl child because I was still raising myself. And um at that time, being only 18 slash going on to 19, to raise a girl child in the society that I was living in, it seemed a bit difficult. And because I was just getting used to things in my life, in my surroundings, in my environment, I wasn't even clear mentally, I wasn't clear physically, and I definitely wasn't clear emotionally. And I can honestly say that spiritually as well, I was nowhere near as aligned as I am now. Um, it was, yeah, it was scary because I was very, very unsure. There was no manual, and as a black woman, well, I should say a black teenager at that time, going to raise a young black girl, I don't know, a lot of emotions and thoughts came up from that. So today I've got my little sister here to talk about the same thing because my sister's first child was a girl. Well, is a girl, so it was is a girl as well. So yeah, we're just gonna have that discussion about our fears and the anxiousness that came up with being pregnant and finding out that we was gonna have a girl for the first time. So how did you feel, sis?
I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. Like, I remember being in the scan room and like had the midwife saying, so you're ready to find out what you're having? And I'm like, oh yeah, thinking in my head that it was already gonna be a boy.
Yeah.
Because I wanted a boy, like in my head it was already gonna be a boy. So when she was like, it's a girl, my face just went straight, my mouth dropped. It was just like, no, this could be the worst outcome possible. Like, I was at a point, I was still trying to figure out what I was at myself as a woman. I had my child when I was 26. I got pregnant when I was 25 and had her when I was 26. Is that right?
Yeah.
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 I'm asking my sister that. But yeah, I had a child when I was 26 and I was still trying to figure out myself and my journey and what it meant to be an adult for myself. So it was like having a daughter was like the worst possible thing for me because it's like now I have to teach my daughter all those things that I'm still trying to figure out at an age that I feel like I should know already. And maybe I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, but I was just like, I was dying inside. I was like, I'm gonna fail instantly. I was gonna fail all the way through my pregnancies, having panic attacks because I'm just like, I'm not ready to have a girl. I was not even ready to have a child, so let alone having a girl. It was just,
It's
it was
serious.
just too much.
Trust me, because I remember when I was in the scan room and I was adamant I was having a boy as well. And even down to when I felt the first kicks, I was like, that's definitely a boy, that's a baller. You know, just all there's myths that come up and you're like, yeah, his kicks are strong. And when she told me I was having a girl, like literally my heart dropped. I was just like, and I couldn't show it to her and I couldn't show it to anyone else because I actually couldn't explain how I felt to anyone else. In fact, I felt embarrassed to say to somebody, I can't have a girl because I don't know how to raise her. Like, it was embarrassing. I didn't have anybody that I could literally go to and be that vulnerable to say, I'm not sure if I can do this. And for me, because I was like 18, 19, it was like the pressure was on because this was my reality now. And even to the point, I remember I didn't even start buying girl stuff till ages. I was buying neutral. I literally was buying neutral stuff because I thought, nah, it's gonna be wrong. I'm gonna have a boy. But sometimes, like, I'll sit there in thought and I'll be like, I don't know, my heart will beat fast, and I was thinking, shit, like, how am I gonna teach her about values and morals and like just pure things like the process of even down to stuff like teaching them about like periods and all of those and to you guys it might seem like, oh, that's just normal, but no, it's not, because it's like, oh my gosh, like I have to get up to speed. Like I have to be this role model, this woman now that has that responsibility of showing this young girl about life, and I ain't even got life figured out. Like I'm still trying to find my feet. Like my stance ain't even stable at the minute. So it was really scary. And did you feel like you had anyone to discuss that with at the time?
Well, I think because you already had a girl, it was
Yeah.
like we're close anyway, so
Yeah.
I come to you about everything. So it was easy to just be like, Sash, I can't. Like in my head, I can't do this. Like I already had set my mind to be like, I'm gonna fail at this. Now that like my daughter's approaching 2, it's a different thing because I know I've got this. Like I've done it. I've done it by myself for a while too. So it's like I've got this. But in the midst of my pregnancy, I was like, nah. I had you. Like obviously, I went to Nat as well. So it was like I did have that the people around to go to and say, you know,
Yeah.
how do you actually do these things because you've got a daughter already, and it was like, but in like it was for me to figure out myself, for me to get over my own anxiety. So it was like in my heart, in my mind, I was like, how am I gonna get myself together before I give birth to this child in order for me to show her what is right from wrong as a woman, like what things as a woman you're supposed to, you know, go through life doing. I know she's only 2, but like I'm still trying to figure out things for myself and things that I was dealing with as a child as well. So I don't want to then brush that off to her and be like, now you have to deal with it. Like I don't want to continue that same cycle. So that's what was like a pressure for me as well.
And you know what, as well for me, like because as a child I was very curious about things, so I questioned a lot of things, about everything. I questioned everything, and so I was kind of scared as well that if when I had my daughter, if she was like gonna be that same person as me that's gonna be questioning a lot, could I answer those questions? Could I answer it in a child sensitive way as well? Like I can't talk to her like she's an adult because she's not even big people. So would I be able to kind of respond to her in a way that she could understand, and also in a way that then she could take it out in the external world and be comfortable with it, and also carry herself in the right way? Because I feel like society has so much pressure in it about how a young girl should behave, or even as a woman how we're supposed to carry ourselves. And for me, like there's no manual, and I think growing up in a black home is different. Like you're not, I don't know, we're not told like, or if we're not, it's not that we're not told, we're not, things are not explained to us as to why. So it's like you must do this, but there's no explanation as to why you should do it. So you're left thinking, okay, I'm gonna just do this, it's gonna be my routine, but I don't know why I'm doing it. And it's like when we get to adults, that's when we realize, oh okay, so that's why we were doing it. And half of the time it's like, well, it was wrong, really. So I think for me as well, that was the next thing, as growing up a young black girl as well, having letting her know as well, like the challenges that she might face being black. Even down to little things like about her loving her skin, loving her hair. Because I remember when I was young, like in primary school, my skin was not an issue. Like I was black, I was proud, it was nothing. Hair, all them things were not an issue. But when you got to secondary school, it was like, oh shit. Like there was no one there to kind of enforce that, yo, love who you are, like be proud, embrace it, you are beautiful, you are magic, your power. Like no one was there to enforce that. So I had to make sure that eventually I got to speed with telling myself that before letting her know that. Because it's like, if I don't believe it, how can I be just dropping gems on her? Like she's not gonna understand, and it's gonna, kids pick up on everything, you know.
And it's not even that, like you can say all this now, but to a certain age you're going to be questioning, like, and then what if you don't have the answers for them? So I felt like it was just a lot for me having a girl child as well. And it's like, and because I don't like have good relationships with females as it is, like I have ups and downs with my friends, as everybody does, but I just particularly had ups and downs with my female friends. So it was like, how can I then have that relationship with my daughter if, as it seems like every other girl in my life apart from my sister, like I don't have that full on good relationship with. So it's like, how am I gonna have that same bond that I want to have with my daughter if I don't, if it's not replicating in the outside world. So it was just like, yeah, it was just a lot. But even back to when I was pregnant, I remember myself being like, yeah, in my head it's gonna change, it's gonna be a boy. I'm gonna have a be a name and be like, it's gonna come out a boy.
I had that
I'm gonna go to my next week wife appointment. It's gonna be like, oh, I got it wrong. It's gonna be a boy. So I wasn't like buying pink. In fact, I was like repelled to pink. I was like, ew, I don't even like pink. I'm not buying anything pink for my daughter because I don't even like. I didn't like pink. The fact that she weren't gonna like pink, I didn't like it, so I wasn't gonna buy it. And that's just came from the fact that I was scared to have a daughter. I was actually scared. I wouldn't change it for the world now that she's here. But I was really scared to have a daughter for all those reasons. So I'm now having to deal with those things that I was scared of now that she's here. And not gonna lie, like it's a blessing for me. Like if I didn't have my daughter now, I don't know what position I would be in or anything like that. But I know that having my daughter, and especially having a girl, has pushed me. It's motivated me. It's motivated me to do the things that I wanted to do. It's motivated me to actually go and find out what it is that I inside truly want to do and what my passion is. So I definitely wouldn't change it for the world. How I find it now is it's still challenging because
motherhood challenging.
It's motherhood. At the same time, it's two females, so it's like you're still gonna have that back and forth, whether they're talking or not talking. Like you're still gonna have that clash of because it's two females. I'm still learning on the journey to be the best mom I can be to her and teach her everything that she needs to be taught from inside the home to taking it outside. And I'm kind of lucky in a sense that she's very independent in her own way and she likes to explore. She's very different from me to the point where I'm very introverted. She likes to be around other people, especially kids. So we're different personalities, which is nice because she's teaching me to be more playful, to be more childlike as well. So
I think my daughter does the same. She brings the best out of me. I said this to her last night. I said, you know what? You bring out the best in me, and that's facts. Like, you know, you've got people around you that just trigger you in it all the time and just bring out the worst in you. And fact, hands down, my daughter brings out the best in me. It's one thing I can say. And part of me, of the fear of having her was as well because when I was younger, it's not like me and my mum was like this. So it was that whole thing of how am I gonna be close with her? Because it to me it would feel like not normal. Do you know what I mean? Because if you don't have something, then to have it, it's like, what do I do with this now? So that was another fear. And yeah, my daughter, same as MJ, like she's shown me a lot. My daughter is literally, and I'm talking literally a mini me of when I was her age. Like every time I see her behave in a certain way, the things she says, the way she carries on, I know, like I have flashbacks. Like that was me when I was little. Like down to my brothers would be like, "Oh, Sash, do you remember you was like that? She's Sasha, man." Like even my mum would say like, Sasha, man, like she's definitely you. Like I was all of that, so it brings me back to who I originally was before the whole fear and the masking of who I was, and you know the incapacity of being vulnerable and open and just being authentic. She's all of that, so she's taught me, or I say teaching me, how to become more Sasha. Like it's mad. Like I watch her with her confidence and her beauty and everything about her elegance, and it amazes me. And it's just like a constant reminder that this is you, Sash. Like this is part of you and it is you. And she's my biggest cheerleader. Like, I just wouldn't change her. Like, she got nowhere but like she gasses me up.
Yeah.
She gasses me up like all the time. She's like, go mom, everywhere I go, she's there in the corner between her and my sister. Like, they're always there, and she's just there. And I think for me and my sisters are, because when we was young, we didn't have a close
No,
relationship.
not at all.
So when you're saying that, you know, in terms of reflection of your friendship female wise,
yeah,
even for us, we have each other as sisters, but we wasn't close.
yeah,
It was only not until we got to adult life in it that
Yeah.
we built that bond. So again, reflecting on that, looking at our children, I think it's kind of pushed us as well to all of us be a unit, like me, you, Nay, and Cage. Like, it's pushed us to be closer.
to do more things together as well.
Because even down to like, my daughter looks at your daughter as a sister.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
that's that whole, you know, unity coming across. But it's mad because I had to ask myself what made me think that having a boy was going to be any easier. And I could hands up like tell you that's because I felt like I was displaying more masculine attributes of myself rather than feminine. So it felt like it was easier for me to relate to a boy rather than a girl. And it's easy for me to, I don't know, build a relationship with a boy son. That's what I thought in my head, rather than the girl, because when I had a girl, I'd have to be more feminine and loving and all that stuff. And I'm not saying boys don't need that, but it was like I didn't know how to bring that side out of me. It was scared to come out. So for me, it was like, yeah, having a boy is gonna be so much easier with it, like, you know, how I am, the masculine side of me coming out, you know, it'd just be easier, like he'll just reflect off that. But yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same as well. Like, I'm not really. I can't say I'm not in touch with my feminine side, but that feminine side of me is not as out there as my masculine side. And also, you know, like with children, always is like that the girls that apple of the eye, and the boys more closer to the mom. So it was like that same, I feel like the same effort and closeness and the bond that you have to have when it comes to a girl, just to make sure like all these things that you see on social media and society are not one of the things that she strays towards. Like, I felt like that process would have been easier with a boy, because then they'd be more loving towards you, and you don't have to do as much with a boy until they probably get a little bit older. So it was like, you know, that child, the boy's gonna be easier to be in a loving relationship with and all that stuff. So I think it was just based on what I was experiencing in the world and my relationships with other people, why I just felt like, you know, a boy would be easier than having a girl.
It's true, because also for me, because my relationships with males in terms of friendship was always like great. Like, one of my best friends was a male, and it just worked well. So I think, yeah, also as well, like, I'm close with my brothers as well, so even having that there, like, it was just, I felt like it was easier to relate. But I realized that the only reason why it was easier for me to relate, because when I was around them, I was less vulnerable. I think I was more not acting like them, but it's like it was easier for me to be in line with the energy that they was putting out, rather than a female. And I've said before, like, there's this cliche thing where everyone always says, like, you know, women, they talk a lot, and we, you know, but we actually don't. And I think unconsciously I was running with that whole cliche. So it's like I ran away from having to be so open, because with guys, you're just like, yeah, you know, guys are telling you about this girl that is, and I'm like, yeah, you know,
it's just chilling.
It's that chill vibe, because I don't have to open up, I don't have to lay bare, I don't have to feel uncomfortable. And so I think the process of having Nevaeh is allowed me to be more open, because I can be very open with her. Very, very open, to be fair. So there's nothing that I need to hide from her, and I don't feel embarrassed. So yeah, I think, you know what, I'm glad that I had a girl first. I think if I didn't, I don't think I would have learnt these lessons by now. It would have been a struggle. I think my relationship probably might have been a struggle with her. So yeah, I'll give thanks.
Yeah, even looking at you and there, like obviously Keisha's not at that age where we can sit down and have conversations. It's
Yeah.
always like the little things. Like, Keisha, okay? Yeah, mommy. Like
And it's like,
those little things.
oh.
So we can't really have a deep conversation. But like I look at you and then we're like, yeah, that's the relationship that I want to have with Keisha. I want to make sure that Keisha is close to me like that. She knows she can come to me about anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm getting there and I'm learning along the way. So like I said, I wouldn't change Keisha for the world. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I just think for any mom out there that's probably struggling to have a relationship with her daughter, kind of just sit down and remind yourself what you needed at that age,
yeah,
and try and learn to kind of just let go of being so much mom and kind of back getting down to her level, because you need to have that rapport, you need to have that relationship with them,
mhm,
because they need to feel comfortable too. It's not just about us, it's about them. And I think one of the biggest things what I've realized in motherhood in terms of our daughters is our mom wound. So
yeah,
we
definitely,
carry
yeah,
our mother's pain and then we pass our pain on to our children.
mhm,
So it's important for us to kind of work on those issues in it
yeah,
before we start passing them down, or even discussing those issues with our daughters,
yeah,
so that they're aware and they can learn to put boundaries and stuff in place. Do you know what I mean? So I just think stuff like that are beneficial.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, I know a lot of women do struggle to have relationships with their children, especially their daughters. And there's actually nothing to fear. I think for us, it's like, well, I remember what I was like at that
yeah.
age.
I
It's
don't want my daughter to be like that, or the back
yeah,
chat I was giving my mom, like, what if that happens to me? But
yeah,
I
but
feel like it's kind of inevitable. It's just how
yeah,
you deal with it.
I agree with that. And I think coming from a black
Yeah,
home, we don't deal with stuff like that well in it. So it's
exactly.
just like,
Yeah,
yeah, like who you talking to?
yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
straight cussing. But I think if we learn to kind of have that conversation and put those firm boundaries in,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not gonna happen overnight. Don't get it twisted. But
Yeah.
it's a process. It is actually a process. And one thing I have learnt to do with Nevaeh as well is just be okay in expressing my feelings, whether they're
Yeah.
good or bad.
Yeah.
Because then that allows her to come to me at times when she feels good or bad, and
Yeah.
just let me
Exactly.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to just create that safe space. But I think as women, we have to learn to let go of our bullshit first.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, like I'm lucky in that sense that Cage is still young, and I know obviously kids see a lot and feel a lot anyway, but she's still young, so I've still got the time to like kind of work on where I need to grow basically,
Yeah.
and so that she doesn't pick up on certain things and she's not carrying my baggage to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, ladies, that's all for today's topic of Mom's the Word. So just like, comment, and subscribe. All my socials are down in the description bar. Check out my blog on mumstheword.com. And yeah, until next time, peace.
See ya.